am I talking about here? I'm talking about the fact that the motivation for Doctor Doom in Doomsday appears to be that he lived in a universe where he married Sue Storm, and together they had a child that was named Franklin Richards, or maybe Franklin Von Doom. You know what I mean? That's actually kind of interesting. I wonder if they named him Franklin Von Doom. But either way, the rumor is, the theory that John Campea had, you know what I mean? The rumor is, chat, that the RDJ Doctor Doom, the main character of Doomsday, the main character of Secret Wars, that variant of Doctor Doom, comes from a universe where he married Sue Storm and had a child, Franklin Richards. Okay, now here's the thing. His child, his universe gets destroyed. And if you think about the stuff that Chris Gore was saying about Phantom of the Opera, I mean, think about Phantom of the Opera. And think about Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm. And think about Doom lingering around Phantom of the Opera style. Okay, so like some of this stuff is actually making a lot more sense. Think of the post-credit scene for the Fantastic Four film. I mean, Doom has his mask off and he's touching the kid, dude. What's up with that? I don't know that there's any other explanation. That's a father and a son. Well, what it really is a father and a variant of a son. Okay? Now, the other thing that's really wild about this is we've had a lot of rumors that Wanda Maximoff and Doctor Doom, RDJ's Doctor Doom, are going to have some kind of a romantic relationship. Now, the thing that I was told that's really weird, and I literally could not understand this up until now. I could not understand this. My source told me he's going to have Wanda as a girlfriend in Doomsday, and then he's going to be married to Sue Storm in Secret Wars, okay? Now, I was like, I remember hearing that and just being like, you got to be putting me on. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be pulling my leg. Are you joshing me? Right? Well, all of a sudden, that makes a lot more sense because Wanda herself was looking for variants of her children in the multiverse. Do you see where this is going? So my prediction on that is that Doom loses his universe, loses his family, and he has to build the suit. Because remember, we learned that the suit is keeping Doom alive. His body is broken. He was destroyed, probably from the incursion that destroyed his entire universe. Doom is shattered, broken, and he builds a suit probably like the same way Tony Stark did build a suit in the fucking caves, except this will be Doom in like a shattered universe. It's going to be super badass. And he's going to make a suit, hold himself together or whatever, right? But then he's going out to the universe. I feel like he's going to stumble upon the prophecy of the Scarlet Witch. I feel as though Doom, just knowing Doom, would know about the Darkhold and is probably going to understand what's going on with Wanda. So then they meet up and it's like, oh, you lost your children and you're looking for variants in the multiverse? Yeah, the multiverse is cruel to you as well. And then they form a bond over that. I mean, guys, that is the connection to make that romantic thing make perfect sense. And then you would say, okay, but then why Sue in Secret Wars? Isn't it obvious? When he becomes God, he's going to create the perfect reality for him. And in the perfect reality, he gets his wife back. So he's divorced dad in Doomsday with the new side chick, and they're having a fling, and, you know, she's had a complicated couple of years, and they're making it work together, and God bless them. But when he gets the juice and he can actually reset it, he is absolutely going to reset it, and he's absolutely going to be with his wife and his child in Secret Wars. That's what I predict. And guys, that's literally just one thing that has like made more sense with this leak, okay? So, just to go back to the post, right? This really does seem to be what's going on. And I think the reason Marvel Entertainment is willing to literally tease it, sort of be cheeky, like, you know, we know the leak's out there kind of a thing, you know, we're having fun with this, is because they're going to drop this shit in the first trailer. Did you guys see what I'm saying here? Like, they're going to drop this shit in the first trailer, dude. They're going to tell us right on Front Street what's going on with Doom, what's going on with Franklin. what's going on with Sue. Okay, so that's just the first part of this. I'll look at chat for a little bit here because I want to know what you guys think about this, because I have a lot more to say, but also this is pretty wild. This is very different than what a lot of us thought. So what do you make of this, chat? Like, what do you think of this? And also too, like specifically, I'm wondering, do you think the Marvel Entertainment post is intentional? That explains the medieval concept art, Doctor Doom, Sue, Franklin standing next. Yep. I don't like this. And yeah, this post is intentional. Ooh, oh man. Okay. Well, maybe I could sell you on it a little bit because I'm not completely sold on it myself, but there's aspects of it that I actually really like. It does play heavily off of the Doctor Doom Reed Richards dynamic from the comics. Specifically, it plays off of the Jonathan Hickman 2015 Secret Wars, where Doom does take Reed's family. It was like a really weird thing, man. It was a weird thing. Doom, when he pops up on Battleworld, Sue's there, Franklin's there, Valeria's there, and they all just believe, like Doom literally altered their minds to get them to believe that Doom was their dad / husband, right? And that was like weird. It definitely pissed Reed off, and it certainly had a lot to do with how the whole story concluded, which I thought was really interesting. But the subtext of that, I always viewed as Doom views Reed as the version of himself that got everything handed to him. And so Doom taking Reed's family as the god emperor of Battleworld, to me always meant that Doom did always want Reed's life. He wanted Reed's life. Deep down, somewhere inside, he wanted Reed's life, which is an empathetic quality. Like, that's a humanizing quality. It's like interesting that was in that story. So this right here is like a version of that, where like you could have a variant of Doctor Doom. And dude, this guy, like, he didn't do anything. He just was living out his normal life on this timeline, living his best life. Might have even been like kind of a chill Doctor Doom, right? And married to Sue Storm. And they have the child, Franklin. And then Steve Rogers shows up and he's like, sorry, your reality shouldn't exist. I got to make sure my friend Tony Stark keeps his daughter Morgan. And the like just boom, everything's just fucking decimated. I don't think that's like the actual way that's going to go down, but like something like that, right? And so the shit just like everything is destroyed in front of him. And then we'll see Victor. Like, how many of y'all read the what's the deal? The Doctor Doom comic from last year, the Jonathan Hickman one, the one shot. How many of you guys read that? Because in that comic, there's a section where like you find Doctor Doom. I put it into the video today. There's a section where like you find Doctor Doom and he's like in space and he's all messed up. And it's because he was fighting that Galactus and he got fucked up, right? But he's still alive. Like, he's kept himself alive, I think, for days in space. And then he's rescued by Valeria. Okay, they build him a new suit. They give him 3 cosmic cubes. They give him a blood transfusion with celestial blood. And then he goes to fight that Galactus again as the last hope of that universe, right? So it's like this super badass thing. But so with Doom being destroyed, like his body being destroyed, Doctor Doom, his actual physical body being torn apart, I expect we would see something similar to that comic where like this broken individual, you know, maybe the world will look a little bit like Sinister Strange in Multiverse of Madness. Do you remember how like it looked like an incursion happened there? And in fact, I believe, yeah, because Steven says, I can see why you guys are so worried about incursions when they go there. And then the Sinister Strange says, I lost to him, and then we never find out who. It's probably Doctor Doom. But anyway, so maybe Doctor Doom's world will end up kind of looking like that with like everything fucking destroyed, right? And then this guy's gonna have to like crawl around, get this suit and use his magic and like rebuild himself, keep himself alive, maybe by pure will alone. And that to me is kind of dope. Okay, that to me is kind of cool. And if that's something they can actually appropriately set up, it's not like my version of Doctor Doom. You know what I mean? It's not like my favorite way that this could go. But I can see a way that that's very satisfying for Doctor Doom fans. It's just kind of like, look, this is just the MCU version of it. And at the same time, given everything that was going on and everything they had to juggle, this might be the best that they could come up with. So that's a little bit of cope. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? I think Doom and the Fantastic Four, like Doom's going to tell them about his reality and the incursions, and they're all going to be kind of working together. And the connection will be that Doom loves the kid and actually wants to help and actually is trying to bring his universe back to get his kid back and his wife. And so I think that's like that'll be like the Doom thing. And then Doom and Reed and everybody like work together. They're trying to solve all the problems. They come into 616, okay? And I do believe at that point, Doom will take his mask off because I was told directly from sources he will pretend to be Tony Stark. Okay? So just hear me out on that. I was told he will pretend to be Tony Stark. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? That probably means he's going to show up on 616 with the Fantastic Four. And he's going to say, you know me. And he's going to take his mask off. And he's going to be like, your Iron Man was a variant of me. You probably didn't know he was a Victor Von Doom. But something like that. Like Doom will use the fact that they're variants of each other to gain the trust of the Avengers, to then go beat up the X-Men, to then get all to get to Steve basically and do all of that sort of stuff, right? So that's what I think is possibly going on. Like, dude, I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff I heard now makes even more sense. Like there were a lot of things where I was like, I can't place this. I don't understand this. How would this work? You know what I mean? Especially like, frankly, this part where he's gonna get the Fantastic Four to work for him. He's gonna manipulate the Avengers of 616 by saying he's Tony. And then he's actually manipulating everybody, which again, we're going to come to in a second because I have a very crazy theory about what all of that could mean. But yeah, let me know. Any leaks about Rune King 4 that I've missed? Nothing that I've seen, brother. I think there were some rumblings about it, especially connected to, like Alex Perez was teasing that they have a plan for Loki and Thor to reunite. And then the Majestic guy recently said that like Cap and Thor are going to go recruit a bunch of variants of like themselves, which is wild. But does that mean he becomes Rune King Thor? I'm not really sure. But that's all I know about it. Doom using Asgardian magic like Loki? Well, it's possible. I mean, if you look at the so let me do a thing here, okay? Let me pull something up here. Because if you look at the suit, which, dude, by the way, guys, there's so much happening right now. It's like hard for me to keep track of it all. But there was a person that confirmed yesterday that this is the Doctor Doom suit. Now, we kind of knew that, but 100% this is it. Somebody literally saw set photos of Downey in this thing. Okay? And also, Steve wielding Mjolnir, definitely in the movie as well. But I feel like we already knew that. Now, what's important about this thing with Doom here is that this is the suit that is protecting him. This is keeping him alive. And it's possible it's keeping him alive after a universe was destroyed. So look at that. Now take a look at it and like look a little bit more closely. So you have maybe the 10 rings. You have Thor's symbol here. You have Captain Marvel's symbol over here. You have these gauntlets, which maybe, I don't know, they look a little bit like Guardians of the Galaxy tech or some shit to me. And then they have these little like card things on his chest, which I think are runes. So this is likely the suit that Doom created out of his broken universe in order to keep himself alive and make himself as powerful as possible. So, yeah, maybe Asgardian magic. Maybe all of it, dude. Maybe he's using all of it. You know? Pretty cool. So there's no Doom in the F4 world. I'm a little confused on that. I mean, there's Latveria. I had assumed that Doom was from that universe. And I felt pretty comfortable in that, but now, not so much. Like, literally now, not so much. So I think it's possible there is no Victor in that universe. Which Infinity Stones was Steve bringing back that caused the incursion? Well, so that's a whole nother thing because, and by the way, too, shout out to Colton. He does a lot of stuff over with Ryan Airy and Screen Crush. He's kind of been on this for a while. I remember he did a very big video about how Steve putting the stones back could have created Tony. And I think it would have to be one of the stones with Tony Stark that then caused a bunch of chaos. And then maybe because it's possible that it is a Tony Stark variant that becomes Doctor Doom. I still don't think that's what it is, but I guess that's still technically possible, even within what we're discussing right now, right? So, yeah, pretty interesting, man. Pretty interesting stuff, yeah. What else do you guys think? I feel a new short a brewing. Hey, I've heard that shorts are increasing their monetization, which is kind of interesting. So I might have to start looking at shorts as well. You guys know I like money. Hello. I like money, so we'll look into it. Bro, if Doom already put the pieces of shattered universes into his suit, that explains how he knows how to do Battleworld. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Tony becoming Doctor Doom wouldn't be a comic accurate Doctor Doom. Very true. I mean, technically, there are versions of that character in the comics, but I know what you mean, yeah. The Doom adoption thing would be a retcon. Yes, it would. Because the Russos denied the adoption theory in special released thing of Endgame, but I could see them doing it nonetheless. I'd hate it, though. Yeah, I think that people would have mixed feelings on it, yeah. I just kind of keep coming back to them wanting to challenge the audience, you know? Them wanting to challenge the audience. I think that's kind of an interesting thing to say. Yeah.